But at the moment, what I'm seeing as Health Minister is a level of apathy, a level of complacency. I understand that, but I'm not happy about it. I'd also say this, the other area of danger is the place that we would normally consider to be the safest place on earth, our homes. You've already heard today that a number of the people who've actually now got the virus got it in a home situation. And we'll hear more detail about that in due course. But it is both a safe place and a dangerous place. We must treat this new world order, this new world of COVID, we must treat this new world of COVID, even in our own homes, with a high level of care and caution. Can I ask all...
A globalist fat cat politician spilling the beans and finally telling the truth. Who would have thought? Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Ogadowski of WeAreChange.org. A lot to get into today, especially with the absolute nonsense happening politically. Yes, we're going to be talking about fetal stem cells, more civil unrest, social distancing, extension of lockdowns, the outright, utter hypocrisy that we have to experience every single day. And yes, we're also going to be talking about The Fly. All of this as, of course, major establishment figures, along with the mainstream media, try to divide and conquer you as much as they can, dependent on the skin that you were born with, trying to indoctrinate this lunacy on the youngest amongst us, as we recently saw in elementary public schools in Virginia, where literally things like objectivity and perfectionism are, according to the education system, those are things that are, quote, racist. And as we fight because of the different DNA in our bodies, at the same time, the rich are becoming richer than ever, and the poor are becoming poorer. But don't worry about that. That's not important at all. Someone else's different DNA is. But we don't abide by that bull, and because of that, we're pretty much demonetized. But hey, at least we have t-shirts that say practice media distancing and other great political statements that, of course, can't be censored, that you yourself can wear right now out there in the middle of the streets, and there's nothing that could be done to stop them. We just got a new shirt, by the way, that we're calling the Glob, because we don't want you to be a glob. We do not want this future for you. And seriously, just don't be that person. There's a lot more to life than the limited paradigm portrayed to you by the mainstream media. So yeah, check out our store. We have shirts, masks, cell phone cases, hats, you name it. We could probably represent your political discontent very well. This Bill Gates is not a medical doctor shirt is doing very well as well. I always get a lot of comments when I wear mine outside in places like the grocery store. Don't Karen on me could help prevent some unneeded Karening out there. And yeah, we also have a lot of election special shirts, including sweaters, the bikinis. The bikinis are great, by the way. I'm surprised we were still allowed to have them up. Joe Biden sniffing your feet, socks. Where's our Trump bikini? I'm going to make that public today, by the way. Anyway, that's our shirt store. Check it out. And that's pretty much one of the main ways that we're supported right now. Also, by the way, if you didn't know, this Saturday in an area near Manchester, New Hampshire, we are doing a one-on-one survival self-defense apocalypse training course. 2 days, 1 night. It's going to be a lot of fun, just for $299. Seats are limited and are filling up fast. Get yours before they sell out. And we're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff that hopefully you won't need to ever use seriously, but at least you'll have the training skill set to survive, of course, very serious situations. Now, one of the reasons I started doing survival courses is because this is something that I've been taking seriously. It's been also a lot of fun, but also on the outside looking in, when we're looking at our political discourse and what's happening inside of the government and media, it looks like everyone is just absolutely losing their minds. And that's now what, unironically, the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, is accusing Donald Trump of being, because now she's trying to use the 25th Amendment powers to remove the U.S. President of the United States from office because she fears that his steroids that he's on right now because of the Conholio sickness is, quote, affecting his mental health. Yes, the Speaker of the House is leading a discussion proposing doing this. Seems like a very desperate move. This is, of course, after U.S. President Donald Trump quickly recovered from the conholio sickness and is now saying that he is a, quote, perfect physical specimen and that he's very lucky because of that. Now, this is all happening on the backbone of just a few days ago where some media personalities were telling you that Donald Trump was faking his conholio sickness, and then the next day they were telling you that he was going to kill everyone next to him. And again, a lot of this is with just pointless speculation. Some would say Trump derangement syndrome, where again, we're just met with constant dribble and insanity from a lot of establishment figures who literally look like they just make things up as they go along. And now another big propaganda effort that we're seeing underway is, of course, against Regeneron, which was a trial drug that U.S. President Donald Trump took. And it looks like now there's a coordinated effort to undermine that drug. And it honestly feels like the media is just waiting for any little opportunity or thing to blame Donald Trump on, like this, quote, Gothamist article that is now blaming him for, quote, delivering a devastating blow to New York City restaurants. Yes, of course, because it's Donald Trump who's the mayor and governor of New York who imposed some of the most serious restrictions and lockdowns than anywhere else in the world. All of this as they hired new government bootlickers going around businesses, shutting them down for the smallest infraction. All the while, they were cheering on protesters that were meeting in the streets in the tens of thousands. And yeah, of course, it has nothing to do with the local leadership. And of course, everyone in New York City voted for Donald Trump, so it has to be his fault. And again, this is frustrating because there's legitimate things that you could criticize Donald Trump on. There deserves to be serious conversations about some of his policies, yes, but we never will have that when we have this insane screaming and dribble from lunatics that are blaming him from everything that's wrong under the sun. And we have to understand these lockdowns, which are continuing to be extended after being told that it's only going to be 2 weeks. And then another 2 weeks, and then another month. These lockdowns are extremely political since, of course, many politicians and the businesses that they are close to don't have to shut down. And this is why billionaires are richer than ever, and the average person is getting screwed over more than ever. These lockdowns are not based on science. They are based off politicians trying to exert more power and control over you. And again, you really have to consider that these extended lockdowns literally remain until election time, specifically November 3rd in New York City. And you really have to start asking yourselves, what the hell is going on here, and understand that this has more to do with politics than it does science. And now we're lectured by other billionaires like Bill Gates, a man who very interestingly said he was donating all of his money to charity, but somehow his wealth increased dramatically. You know, the same guy who says who cares about children, but won't feed them, but is working on complicated medical procedures like jabs and abortions for them. The same Bill Gates who is very oddly connected to individuals like Jeffrey Epstein, who he lied about his association with, his friendship with, his meetings with before to the general public. Yeah, Bill Gates, that same Bill Gates is now lecturing us that you can have your life to normal under the best case scenario only by the end of 2021 when, of course, there's a conholio jab. Also, other individuals connected to Epstein and other abusers of children and women like Harvey Weinstein are, of course, the Cuomo family, who, of course, are connected to a lot of the shady dealings, specifically with Harvey Weinstein. And as, of course, we know, Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein, two peas in a pod, connected and, of course, protected by government. Yeah, I don't know. These individuals don't seem trustworthy. I wouldn't want to associate myself with any of them. Nonetheless, take advice from them? No, thank you. And again, the lockdowns and restrictions continue to happen in New York City, where now the New York City mayor, unironically, is demanding that protests stop immediately in New York City. Why? Well, because the protests are against him. When the protests call for racial division, yes, those protests are great because people are divided and conquered and they fight amongst each other and they don't blame anyone else except for different people of their skin color. Yeah, Black Lives Matter protests, all okay for the mayor, but the Jewish Orthodox community protesting because of more severe lockdowns against the government? No. No. That's unacceptable to Bill de Blasio. And my goodness, just when the hypocrisy couldn't be more rich, one moment protests are okay, another one they have to be suppressed immediately. It just shows you how absolutely deranged, illogical, and stupid government could be. But yeah, it's all Donald Trump's fault for what New York City has to deal with. And of course, the lockdowns, the restrictions are continuing to escalate all over the world, including in Germany, where there now is a curfew. Again, curfews are absolutely idiotic. It's just another excuse for police to hassle and arrest and to fine individuals who are walking around doing their own business. There's nothing scientific about curfews stopping the spread of the conholio sickness. It's just more idiotic lockdowns and restrictions that, if you compare to what's happening in Sweden, are absolutely evil. And even 6,000 scientists have come together, signed a petition, a public call for the lockdowns to be lifted, since again, it looks like they are doing more harm than good. Again, we still don't know exactly what we're dealing with. A Chinese virologist whistleblower that just had our mother kidnapped in China released a second paper talking about the scientific fraud that is being organized against you right now, and how what we're dealing with could be a potential bioweapon. And all the anomalies of what's been happening, especially when you compare what's been happening in Sweden to the rest of the world and many other places like Tokyo to, of course, Milan, you see a huge disparity of data that absolutely makes no sense at all. And that's why it's always important to remain cautious, but aware of exactly what's going on. But I think the picture's pretty clear that these lockdowns, these restrictions are hurting more people than they are actually helping. But yeah, that's my take on it. Oh yeah. Also, in other distraction news, there was a fly on the VP's head during the vice presidential debates that were too boring to even devote any little bit of coverage to, or even to live tweet, in my opinion. But yeah, there was a fly in his head, which is a ridiculous non-story, but other idiots decided to make it a story. I personally believe the fly was trying to tell us something. Facetiously, of course. Also, there's a possibility that the next presidential debate might be virtual, something that the U.S. President Donald Trump said he would not do. Because, yeah, it's definitely not the same as an actual, real debate. No, I don't want to watch a Zoom conference. Bring the plexiglass in, just like they did last night, ridiculously. I don't care, because we want to see a debate, not a boring little teleconference. And maybe we could see some actual issues addressed, but no, they probably will be ignored over, of course, all the shenanigans and nonsense and personal ego-driven, sensationalistic nonsense that the mainstream media loves to obsess about and is their new virtual crack. Also, more civil unrest in Wisconsin as protesters smashed storefronts and even personal residences' windows with rocks, because somehow that's going to help someone or help some... what the hell's wrong with these people? Oh, an injustice happened. Let's target a random citizen that has absolutely nothing to do with it and make their life miserable by destroying their property or physically hurting them. Yes, that's a great movement, an idea, of course, that gets the stamp of approval from a lot of government officials, mainstream media, and all the multinational corporations. Gee, I wonder why. And that's friggin' ridiculous. Sorry, I'm just off in a tangent. That's my particular take on it. If you appreciated it, share it with your friends and family members. Again, I hope to see a lot of you guys this Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you're into adventure, this is definitely going to be the place to be for you. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and this is why. Love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on WeAreChange.org.